First round of the NBA in-season tournament officially in the books tonight. We had 11 games in the NBA to go through today as we head to the knockout round of the in-season tournament. We start in New York where the Red Hot Magic looking to keep it rolling. This was a matchup tonight against the best offense in the East against the best defense in the East, and early on, here is that defense. KCP to pull up 3 in transition. Magic may have won 12 out of 13, but tonight in New York City, they really met their match. I know they don't have Paolo, but the Knicks just took it to them. Second quarter signs of brilliance from the Knicks offense. Cam Payne to Mikal Bridges. Knicks up by 12, now they're playing some defense. Deuce McBride the steal up ahead to Cam Payne, and check out the tough finish. New York up by 16, this is more like what we expected to see from this team this season. Josh Hart with a tough finish, now it's Cat tumbling to the rim. Knicks coasting in the second, this was my favorite possession of the night. Towns tries to body Wagner, Wagner stops him, but then Towns the baseline fade. Final seconds to a magical first half for the Knicks, everything else going, why wouldn't this? Mikal Bridges beating the buzzer. They never took their foot off the gas pedal all game long. This was the definition of a team win by a Knicks team. And who knows, might be ready to go on that long win streak that we're anticipating from them at some point in the near future. Knicks dominate at home, and look at the balance offensively from this team. Josh Hart with a triple-double. And with that win, the Knicks are one of the teams headed to that next round of the in-season tournament. Another game to decide who advances in the in-season tournament today in Detroit. The red-hot Milwaukee Bucks versus the Detroit Pistons, the Pistons' biggest regular season game. This is their biggest regular season game in a long time. Early on, the steal and Tobias the slam. In the first quarter, Bucks up by 3. The Pistons just ran into the Bucks at the wrong time. This does not look close to the Milwaukee team that we saw earlier this season. Bucks up by 7 midway through the second quarter. Dame Dollar was in one of those zones tonight. No matter what the Bucks were doing, it was going in. Third quarter, Bucks up by 20. Please do not get bored by his greatness. Every season in this man's career, he's improved at something. This year, he's improved at the mid-range. I mean, just look at how smooth it looks now compared to years prior. He is getting so much more comfortable. It was a huge opportunity for the Pistons tonight, but unfortunately for them, Giannis and Dame came in and spoiled the party. Giannis with 28, 8, and 7 on 10 of 11 field goals, and Dame 27, 5, and 4. The Bucks advance. You missed this Grizzlies and Mavericks game tonight. You missed one of the better games all season between two elite teams. Full recap of that one's on my page, but with that win, that's 5 wins in a row now for the Red Hot Mavericks. In Phoenix tonight, the Suns hosting the San Antonio Spurs. The Suns coming off that big home win against the Warriors. Durant starting them off with a 3. Suns off to a scorching start. There's Tyus Jones. San Antonio was coming off a nice road win in Sacramento, but they find themselves in a hole in Phoenix. Spurs down by 8 early in the second quarter. A bright spot for San Antonio tonight, the return of Jeremy Sohan. Not so bright spot though was this play. KD shaking and baking on Wemby to the rim. Phoenix up by 11 late in the first half and doing it on both ends of the floor. Grayson Allen poking it away from the rookie Stephon Castle. They're out and running. Great ball movement. Bad news for the Suns in this one was that Durant got hurt in the first half and wouldn't return. So they had to do it in the second half without KD. Check out this play in the second half from Wemby. Fourth quarter, Phoenix up by 8, doing it on both ends. Plumlee the block on Sohan, and on the other end they leave D-Book for 3. And this is what these Suns do. The ball movement, Mike Budenholzer offense. Beal, good night. We'll see what the update is with KD's sprained ankle. I hope he doesn't have to miss time. In the meantime, he gives a shout out to Devin Booker with 15,000 career points at 28 years old. Thunder in Utah today from OKC. Early in the first, Colin Sexton the and 1. OKC finds themselves down in the first, needing to rally, but rally they did. Late in the first quarter, Thunder now have a 5-point lead. SGA muscling to the rim. Now here are some signs of that OKC defense. We know all about it. J-Dub the other way. Speaking of J-Dub, he and Shea were just fantastic once again today. Check out the two-way play from J-Dub. Third quarter now, Thunder lead is mounting, and J-Dub again getting more and more comfortable each and every week. And then this play right here, vintage SGA. Check out the pump fake right here. He gets both defenders off their feet. Thunder get the win. Meanwhile, in Denver, this facial expression by Draymond says it all about how all the Warriors fans must feel right about now. Full recap of this game on my page if you want to check it out. Another fourth quarter collapse and another Jokic masterpiece. Houston and Sacramento today, the Kings losers of 6 of their last 7, desperately needing a win at home. De'Aaron Fox with the early 3. On the other hand, we know how hot these Houston Rockets have been, looking to stay hot. Houston up by 1, late in the first quarter, Jalen Green looking to add to the Kings' early season misery. Houston up by 6 now, 3 minutes to go in the first half, and more from Jalen Green, getting hot as we know he can. That was a 4-point play by Jalen. Very next possession, shot clock winding down right over Malik Monk. We've seen this movie with Sacramento before this season. Will tonight be a different story? De'Aaron Fox with a 3, now Sabonis the dunk. Kings take the lead early in the third. This possession right here is more like the Kings we're used to. Sabonis, the great ball movement to Murray. By the way, speaking of ball movement, Mike Brown said Malik Monk is a permanent starter now, and he had 12 dimes today. Final seconds of the third, Kings up by 9. Malik Monk to beat the buzzer. Sacramento pulling away in the fourth. Herter no good. Boy, did the Kings need a victory like this. Sabonis the and one. Kings get the win. These are the types of nights they need from these 4. How about Malik Monk with the career high in assists? The story of the game, though, may have been here at the end where Ime Udoka gets tossed from the game, as does Alperen Şengün. Check out what Udoka had to say about the officiating after the game.
Calls right in front of you. You're calling ticky-tack, moving screens, and little shit like that, and then you don't want to call the obvious ones right in front of you. So that was it. Alpi got fouled a few times on that drive and on the layup, and they don't want to call it. And so get some fucking glasses, open your eyes.
Blazers and Clippers today from Los Angeles. The Clippers seeking their 9th home win in a row. Early in the first, Norman Powell made his return last game. Boy, did they miss him. Clippers up by 8 already in the first and doing what they do best on the defensive end. Chris Dunn the poke away, Chris Dunn the other end with the layup. We saw what James Harden did last game against Denver. He was still feeling it in the first tonight. Third quarter now, Clippers up by 6. Harden once again getting to his spots in the mid-range, snaking the screen. Portland was keeping it close for the most part, but they just didn't have the firepower for these Clippers. Harden the 3 there, final seconds of the third. Harden again, beating the buzzer. They've won 9 home games in a row now. I don't feel like enough people are talking about them. And Norman Powell, 30 points in 25 minutes. Out in the East today, Sixers and Hornets, 2 teams fighting to get out of the bottom of the East. Philly won their last game on the road in Detroit. They got off to a great start today in Charlotte. Kelly Oubre with a 3. Now later in the first, there's the Duke guy. Jared McCain the steal, and McCain back in North Carolina. Philly up by 10 in the second. This looked like a different Sixers team tonight. George for 3. Very next possession, Sixers up by 13. George again. This is the man that they were hoping to get when they signed him. Third quarter, Charlotte getting a little bit closer, but the Sixers felt like they had this game in the bag. PG again and one. Now in the fourth, the Hornets have made it a ball game. Brandon Miller going at his idol. This actually turned into a really fun duel between these two in the fourth. PG back at him. Hornets down by 7. Miller again. Other end, PG can't disappoint. This is the man that called him the GOAT. George going right back at him. Brandon Miller, though, was on a freaking mission in this fourth quarter. Philly only up by 2. A minute and a half to go. They turn it over. Oh my goodness, are they gonna collapse in Charlotte? Miller gives them the late lead, but in a tie game, next possession, Tyrese Maxey takes them home. Really special night for Miller in the loss, but tonight was about Philly P. 29 points, 8 dimes, and an efficient night from the field. Toronto tonight, Pacers and Raptors. We all know about Tyrese Halliburton's well-documented road struggle. Today he starts it off with a 3, but moments later on the other end, Scotty B responds. Late in the first quarter, Halliburton looking like he's getting more comfortable on the road. Here he is going to his right, pulling up for another one. But the rest of this ball game was all about these young and hungry Toronto Raptors. Scotty B. Don't let their record fool you. This team has a lot of young talent. It all starts with RJ and Scotty. Here's Scotty decelerating for 2. Third quarter, Raptors in full control. I don't know about you guys, but this man looks like a franchise player to me. Raptors dominate the Pacers on Scotty's career night. 35 points, 9 assists, 6 boards. Last but not least, we pretty much all knew this was going to happen. Cleveland hosting the Wizards losers of 14 in a row. This one was not close. Cleveland controls from start to finish. They win at 118-87, 7 players in double figures. And by the way, in case you're keeping track, that is now 15 straight losses for the Washington Wizards. And here you go. Here's the next round of the in-season tournament. It'll be next Tuesday and next Wednesday. Golden State at Houston, OKC and Dallas in OKC. And in the East, Orlando going into Milwaukee, Atlanta going into New York, Trae Young going into the